how are we all on this amazing Sunday? Welcome to my live. So those that don't know me, I'm Jenny, so I'm one of the new moderators, and I have my own art business called Raw Art Design, as well as I'm a art teacher. I'm just going to remove my glasses because it's reflecting in there. So if you are watching online, just say hi so I can see in the comments. I'm just going to comment, and I'm actually going to check to see. I'll just put my glasses back on so I can see if we are live. So if someone is on, please say hello. I'm in the right group, so that's good. All right, yes, I'm there. Good. All right, I will start anyway, and you can either catch the replay. And it's really hot today here in the territory, so a little bit flushed, but that's okay. So we are going to look at different ways to do your guidelines. So this is the way I do them. There's so many different ways that you do them, and you may have another way that you do it as well. And that's completely fine. It all helps everybody. So you may be a beginner and have no idea what I'm talking about. So I will be sharing my camera shortly, or changing the angle anyway, to show you what I'm talking about. And there are lots of YouTube videos as well to help you if you're still not quite sure. And if you do have a different way, please share. I have seen some really helpful videos in the group, and I did say I was making some guides, which I'm getting to hopefully this week now. Just had a little technical issue with that, so they should be up during the week, and we'll be placing the different videos into different guides to help you out. All right, now if you do come on and are watching the replay, just put #replay so that I know that you have watched it. So I'm going to share my camera, we'll change the camera angle so that you can see my table and you can see what I am talking about. I'll just move that out of the way, so just bear with me for a moment while I change that. All right, so there are a number of different ways you can do your guidelines. So when I'm talking about guidelines, it is these on the piece that you're working on. Now, some people are very clever and can do this with no guidelines and get really good formation. However, I've tried that and I didn't like not having guidelines, so I choose to use guidelines. Now you can get different templates, so they come in all different sizes. So I've got a few sizes here. So I've got this one, which is just a normal 8-1, one from HDC or Happy Dotting Company, which is also an 8-1, but it is a little bit smaller than that one. And then I've got a nice big one from Happy Dotting Company as well, which I think has got 16 sections in it. So this is really good once you get up onto the really big canvases. And I'm just checking. Sorry, I'm just checking because I can see people on there. Oh, there we go. Hello Claudia, hello Joyce and Margaret, or Mum. It's not showing me on my comments next to me for some reason. I'll just put hello and see if that brings them up. And it's telling me I've got no viewers. Oh, there we go. Now I can see all your comments. Excellent. All right. So who has used guidelines before? So ladies watching, who uses guidelines to do their dotting? Just put a yes or no in the comments. And because I teach, I have got my son to cut out my MDF to exactly the right size of my piece, so that I I can find the center really easily. However, finding the center for some people can be a little bit frustrating. So today I'm going to show you easily how to find the center of a square and also a circle. So a circle one was very frustrating when I first started, and I've played around with a few different ways to find the center. So I'm hoping that now what I'm going to show you will be helpful. And it's still not showing me comments, so I do apologise that it's not showing me your comments. I'll just go, sorry, I'm just getting that. Hi Karen, hi Shaz, welcome on. Alright, I'll leave that there and that will hopefully tell me who is watching because my computer isn't. So, easy if you're going to do your guidelines straight onto a square and it's the perfect size. You just pop it on because it's the perfect size. You're going to be able to find the center, and then you are going to be able to draw the guidelines in. So I'm not going to show you on this one, so it will end up looking like this. Now, I'm using a bigger chalk pencil just for today because it's easier to see for you. However, I love these soap ones from Happy Dotting Company. They just don't show up as well for you, and you can for me showing you, and you can sharpen these up really well, and they actually come off a lot easier than the chalk pencils. You can get the chalk pencil in a thinner size as well, which will fit into your compasses. So that's how you use your template. If you don't have access to templates, you can find your center very well, and I'm just going to keep that there to show you because that's what we've used the template with. So you can just grab a ruler and you rule from each side. Right, and then measure the middle of each. So this is good because this will give you your guidelines as well, so your diagonal guidelines. So I'm just doing the half. I actually find it a lot easier for me to do it this way now, because when you look at this circle guideline, it is missing parts as well, whereas I like to have the circles right around and my other guidelines come right out to the edge. So this works on whatever size square you want, and just don't rule like I have. I'll just grab a nappy wipe. I normally have a nice metal ruler that seems to work a lot nicer as well. And the thinner the pencil, the better, because you get a nicer line. So there is your center dot. So this is just going to give you a 8 section circle. So then you can grab a compass, which you can pick up at news agencies, or at Woolies have some as well. Just if you are having to go and buy one, this is a cheaper one. Make sure, depending on what size pencil you've got, it's going to fit in there. So then you can, now someone else did demonstrate this, and I'm sorry I can't remember the lady's name, but there is a little video she did, which was awesome. She did it on a little circle. So these Lazy Susans are a bargain, and they are available from Kmart for about $7. So this is so helpful, especially on your dotting journey. So it even helps you just with doing your guidelines as well as doing your dotting, because you can just turn it instead of having to turn your actual piece. So then you just hold it in the middle and turn your Lazy Susan instead of actually turning the piece. And then you can go around. Now if you are a perfectionist and like to have all of your guidelines the same size, you can measure them on a ruler so that they're all the same size on there. Alright, so then you just go right around until you have however many circles you want. And then that way you have the whole guideline instead of missing parts on there. And like I said, I would use a sharper pencil. It's just that these ones, big fat ones, are harder to sharpen, but you can see this better. Alright, so does anybody use a compass for doing their guidelines? This is actually easier, especially on your bigger ones. I'm just having a look for comments. It's not showing me. Why it doesn't want to show me comments. So sorry, I will have to answer anybody who asks me a question after. Alright, so that's how we do a square one. So you would do the same on a bigger square as well. However, because that's harder to find the center, you can easily find the center by drawing in your guidelines. So you only really need to do a cross. You don't even have to do it all the way, just line up. So you've got your center there, then you can place your template on and again trace around all of the lines on your template. Alright, now the fun one, a circle. Now there's a couple of ways to do the circle, which I'm going to show you. So the way I started was guessing and that didn't work very well. It was always off-centered. The next way I did was to grab a larger piece of paper than my circle, and no picking on my cutting out please, because I had really big scissors. So is to trace around your circle that you're using, which gets a little bit harder as you get into the bigger ones. However, I'm going to show you a way shortly after this that helps you with bigger ones and is a bit easier than this. Cut out your circle and then you fold it in half as best you can, and hopefully you would have cut out a lot neater than I have. Fold it in half again, so you've got a little, like a little cone, and then you can just snip a tiny little bit off the end. You don't want it too big. Open that out and fit that on as best you can. So when you do trace around it, the line is actually makes it a bigger circle. So that's why my cutting's not very good, because I tried to cut within the line so that it would fit within the circle. All right, and then you can pop a center guideline in the middle there. So there's your middle. So then you can use whatever template you've got if you want to do it that way and draw in your guidelines, or you can use a compass as well. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the other way. All right, so the other way, and this is one that's really good for bigger pieces, is to grab a small size. I've just got a piece of card, make sure it's very even, so this was just a little invitation thing. Or if you're doing it on a bigger one, you'll use an A4 piece of paper. And then you fold it in half. Okay, as best you can. And then grab your, I'll just use the little chalk pencil for now. Oh no, that one doesn't show up on this paint. Doesn't show up on this paint. Alright, so then what you need to do is get the corners as close as you can to the edge of the circle, doesn't matter where, and pop a line. So where your middle line is, pop a line on the circle, and down here another line. Alright, and then we are going to, now you don't need to go all the way, you want to line up that one and the one you did down the bottom and draw like a cross. Then you go turn your circle, and we're going to repeat that. Now I actually got this off of a man on YouTube, and I think the video might be in this group as well, I'm not sure. Alright, so another one. And you only need to do a cross, and just to make sure that you are in the center, we're going to do one opposite those. So it's just up the top, down the bottom of the paper, so using that crease, and then as best you can it will go, it's a little bit off, I might not have had it quite straight on. Alright, so that will give you roughly your center, and you usually do quite a big dot in there anyway. So that's where you will start. So from that, and on a bigger one especially, and I'll just use this one because it hasn't got, all I do, because I sometimes find that my guidelines can be a little bit off drawing with the template, so I just make a small mark in there. And then I can do full lines right across my circle. So this is really good when you have a big circle. So the big ones that I've been working on, that was my frustration, was finding the center and then getting the guidelines correct. So I've got a meter ruler, and then do the big ones on with the A4 piece of paper, doing the same thing, and then using my big meter ruler. I'm just going to check in the group for comments and see. Yes, Kate, wooden rulers are very annoying. So yes, normally I would have a nice metal one because they are a lot better to work with. So then once you have that guideline, you will do the same. You'll just get your compass, pop that on, you can find the middle. So it's easier to hold, I find it easier to hold right down the bottom, and I can just move it around. So spin it around. Now, is there anybody that is quite comfortable with their dotting and usually dot around on this size, which is a 30 centimeter round, but wants to go to a larger one, however has been a little bit scared to go to the bigger size up? put that in the comments if you are, and what's been holding you back going to a larger size. So then you'll do that right around to get to the edge and however many you want. I just find it easier that way. Now if you do want to get in between, I was playing around with this before, I'll just do a larger one right out near the edge. So if you need more guidelines, so if you want more diagonal guidelines, what you can do is go to the edge. So it is 90 centimeters, so I'll go half of that. So 4.5. So you do need that very last circle, just so you can see, because I'm just going on the edge to edge of the circles there, and I'm a little bit out, but that's okay. It's because I'm rushing. And I'll just go one over this side so you can see. All right, so then you line it up. And you'll go right around doing those little lines in between, so then that will give you extra sections. So I hope that makes sense. Now as you go up in size, I did start off with a little Lazy Susan underneath, and that was very challenging with the big ones. So you probably won't be able to see the size difference, but this is huge. This is a 50 centimeter Lazy Susan that I got online from House. It was half price, so I was quite happy with that, and I'm actually going to dot some of them up as well. However, what you can do is, if you just buy a cheap Lazy Susan, I then discovered to just buy another big circle from, which I should have done in the first place, another big circle from Briley Hollow, where I get all my big cutouts anyway. So yeah. Alright, so that is my little lesson for today. It was just a quick one, just to show you guidelines, and I'm just going to turn my camera back to see you. And yeah, sorry I cannot see comments. I'll just check again to see if anybody has asked me a question. No, it's not even updating. Oh yeah. Ah, Karen, well done. 70 centimeters. So you may want to just go up to a 51, so you're sort of in between, and go with that first. That's what I did. So Mum, who's on here watching, I did a practice one first, I think. Oh no, I didn't. I went straight to her big one. Because yeah, it's just getting those guidelines done first. So hopefully that will help you to find your center and then get the guidelines on there. So make sure you've got a meter ruler so that you can go right across your canvas. I just find that a lot easier to do, and that worked out a lot better having that. Now next week I am going to do a basic pattern with you. So if you are going to be on next week, please have, if you can, I think it's 150. Yep, 150 by 150 little square, so like this. And have your guidelines already drawn out, and you can dot along with me, or you can do it after, totally up to you. So if you're a person that prefers to watch first and then do it, you can do that. If you want to dot along with me, then that's fine. And it's more just using your tools and getting the hang of spacing and that sort of thing. So it's a very basic pattern, and we will do one layer next week, and then the top dots the following week after that. So if you have white and 3 colours, then you will be able to follow along with what I do. And I haven't got a sample to show you, but anyway, I'll put it up so that everyone can see. Alright, so I hope that was helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing all of your guidelines. And then thanks for watching, and I will see you on next week.